Welcome! I know that this isn't the normal time that I post, but recently I've been hooked on something that I've been wanting to share with you guys. So a little context, I go into work every Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, and my commutes are long. For about an hour, 3 days a week, I'm on a train, and in parallel, one of my friends, if you're a returning viewer, you guys probably know her. She's my pharmacy friend. She suggested that I read a manhwa called Chasing Tails. So Chasing Tails is a Korean manhwa, which is a genre of graphic novels, I think, that are very similar to Japanese mangas. I think the main differences between a manga and a manhwa is where the media comes from. So manga comes from Japan and manhwa comes from Korea, and the drawing styles I think differ a little bit. Anyway, I started reading it on my way to work and everything is just so good, so I had to retell it. Just a disclaimer, this retelling is going to be much longer than you just going and reading the manhwa yourself. But to defend myself as to why this will be so much longer, it's because a picture is worth 1,000 words. And speaking 1,000 words takes a lot longer than looking at a picture, so in my defense, that is why it's going to be longer. Also, these episodes are probably going to be a lot shorter and probably more inconsistent. I'm going to be writing these out while on the train, and realistically I can only get one done every week, and then I need to find time to film these, so just know that they'll be on a best effort basis on my part. Anyway, with all that out of the way, let's get into chapter 1. Everything starts with a recording. It's completely dark except for the little light that the flashlight of a phone produces. As the camera moves around the room, you see rubble everywhere and hear voices complaining about the heat. And then a face comes into view. He's sweating and it looks a little desperate as he speaks. We're the sophomores and juniors at Sejong University Film Department, and we're waiting to be rescued. It seems like there was an incident during our studio tour. 9 of us are trapped down here right now. We talked to 911 just now and are all staying together as advised. Thankfully, no one is injured. Hey, stop that and just start filming. Okay. We're recording a short introduction of ourselves and our blood type just in case. I'm Han Sung-bin and my blood type is B. The camera shifts and a girl comes into view. I'm Chung Hana. My blood type is O. The camera shifts again. I'm Lee Chung Nok. My blood type is a little rare, and Mom, Dad, I love you. Okay, pause. Maybe this is why I shouldn't be writing things on the train, so I mix this part up. Chongnok is not the one who cries for his mom and dad. He just says that his blood type is a little rare. He's on RHA. And it's Kim Yoon who actually cries for her parents. I just completely forgot her introduction in the script that I had written for this, so instead, I hope you guys enjoy the actual part of the manhwa with her drawing in it. I'm so sorry for messing that up. I'll try to be more careful in the future. As soon as she says that, the chaos breaks out. This isn't what they agreed on. They need to be quick in case the battery runs out. Someone breaks up the fight and a boy comes into view. This is Song Jun-taek, and Jun-taek pauses and drops his head. And your blood type? Jun-taek lifts his head and scratches his hair. I know, it's type O. The camera shifts again. This is Shin Yu-chong, and my blood type is... But he gets interrupted by Song-bin, who realizes that the camera isn't in focus. Great, hope we don't need this for any blood transfusions. Another small fight explodes, the camera comes back into focus, and someone once again breaks up the fight before the camera moves on from Yujung. Oh, Taeyeon here, blood type is B, I'm interning at the studio. The camera moves on. I'm Baek Hae-sung, my blood type is AB. Please save us as soon as possible. And then the next person comes into view. I'm Ko Juno, blood type B. Now let's turn it off, guys. Song-bin turns off the recording. All 9 of them are sitting in a circle with a phone's flashlight in the middle. Each person has something different to add to the conversation. Some regret coming to tour the studio, some are grateful that they're alive and not buried underneath the rubble, and someone just wants them to stop talking because that'll make them all thirsty. The conversation ends with someone suggesting that they turn off the flashlight to preserve the phone's battery, and soon the whole area grows dark. 16 days later, on the 6 a.m. morning news, a reporter is reporting on suspicious signs on the corpses from the Contra Studio incident. The news is playing on a TV in an apartment where the apartment tenant is listening to it while she's making morning coffee. The news reporter continues. The police stated that they will be investigating the case and the survivors. Although the survivors of the Contra Studio incident were rescued on the 6th after 14 days in isolation, 3 corpses were found damaged and one of the survivors was found unconscious, raising multiple suspicions on the case. Police have obtained permission from the family of the deceased to request an autopsy of the 3 corpses. Additionally, in order to minimize the possible psychological distress of the survivors during the investigation, prosecutors have stated that a professional advisory committee member would join the investigation. And on the TV screen, you see these headlines flashing: Contra incident, signs of murder revealed on site, multiple survivors suffering from trauma. Police request an autopsy from the National Institute of Scientific Investigation. The tenant grabs the keys to the apartment, says bye to her boyfriend, and is putting on her shoes as the news reporter on the TV continues behind her. Prosecutors have revealed that they are appointing a neuropsychiatrist as an advisory member, and people are speculating that the appointed member is Dr. Chu Younghwa. Younghwa smiles as she exits her apartment. Meanwhile, at the police station, everyone is gossiping about how Team 2 will most likely take on the Contra case. It seems pretty obvious to all the other officers that Kwon Jong-do will take over and Team 2 will steal the spotlight yet again this quarter. Meanwhile, in the room assigned to Team 2, one of the team members is crying. At this rate, she'll never get to go home. Jong-do, however, is all about work. He wants to go through the crime scene photos, but his teammates convince him to get some tea in the break room. Taegun, one of the cops on Team 2, is scrolling through social media while waiting for his tea, and the comments are kind of all over the place. There are a couple threads talking about how the 6 of them didn't have enough food to eat or how they had to eat their own poop to survive. Another thread that says, and I quote, "Men and women in their 20s isolated together don't even have to question what must have happened. I wish I was there." Some people, I swear. Thankfully, there's a few folks calling this person disgusting and another person pointing out that there were 3 corpses in there, which, I don't know, I guess if you're like into necrophilia, that might not be as big of a turnoff as some people think it is. But the most interesting thread is about Younghwa. The commenter doesn't understand why everybody's making such a big deal about psychiatrist Chu Younghwa. The replies to the comments talk about the Songni case. That case shook the entire country, and it's how Younghwa got famous. Taegun puts his phone down and starts asking about Younghwa. That Dr. Ju, apparently she's 43. Is that true? I saw a picture of her and I honestly thought that she was my age. Well, what were you gonna do if she was your age? No, I mean that she's pretty gorgeous, so I was just surprised. She's in her early 40s because she was in college during that incident. Dr. Ju, I still remember seeing her on the TV as a kid. There were no privacy laws back then, so all the faces and names and pictures of the survivors were broadcasted to the public, which not only made her a well-known face during the investigation of that incident, but also after that. Daegun starts sweating while he tries to explain himself. Lieutenant, I think I misspoke, but Chongdo is serious. If it becomes clear that there was a murder, then this is a locked room murder case, so hold yourself back even if the doctor is gorgeous. Lieutenant, I mean, Dr. Ju isn't just a doctor. She's a survivor from the incident, so watch what you say in front of her. Don't make any mistakes that could get us in trouble with the prosecutors. Daegun apologizes, but he's cut off from saying anything more than "I'm sorry" by a voice behind them. What mistake? Saying that I look your age, or being pretty gorgeous? Or perhaps it's the fact that you're a little bothered that I'm a committee member appointed by the prosecutors. I don't really care, to be honest, but I'd be happy if my coworkers were comfortable working with me. Oh, also, I'm 43. Does that answer your question? She then walks up to Jongdo, who is frozen, and extends her hand. Lieutenant Kwon Jongdo, I'm Chu Younghwa, Director of Neuropsychiatry at the National Chungwoo Health Research Center. I was wondering what you thought about the order of the survivor statements. And with that interruption, the team gets to work. They stick up all the photos they've gotten from the crime scene, and because I can, I'm going to describe some of them to you. Quite a few of them are blood splatters on the rubble in the area where the 9 of them were located. There are 2 photos of articles of clothing. One of them is like a really colorful, I want to say scarf, and then the other photo is one of a bloody pink shirt. In addition to that, there's another picture of a moldy bread and a photo of a woman's shoe that also has some blood on it. Younghwa is studying the photos while Chongdo is studying her, thinking back to the comment she made earlier, calling him out on the fact that he's bothered by the fact that she was appointed by the prosecutors. After a few moments, Chongdo answers Younghwa's questions about the order of the survivor statements. The order of the statements doesn't really matter. The survivors cannot communicate with each other in order to get their story straight, and there wouldn't be any difference even if they agreed on a story before the rescue. So I'm planning on getting statements from whoever recovers first. Younghwa turns to him. Then it must be easy to get the first statement from the survivor who's suffering the most, right? Among the survivors who can talk now, we need the one who's struggling the most in this situation, mentally taking it the hardest and the most sensitive. It'd be even better if that survivor is severely injured. And as she's saying this, she has like this small smile on her face, and the look in her eyes for for some reason is very unsettling. Before Younghwa can continue, she gets interrupted by the female detective on the team. Sorry to cut you off, but was that a professional comment as a neuropsychiatrist? No, not really, but it is in fact the easiest to get the most honest response from the severely injured and unstable survivor. We're getting statements from everyone anyways, right? We all know that they probably had some internal conflicts and ended up killing one another. You better get the alibis as soon as possible. Remember that investigation team that missed the opportunity and messed everything up? Getting all 9 of their alibis will be the foundation of the investigations, Lieutenant. Get the statement from the one who's suffering the most. Meanwhile, in the hospital, on the other side of a door that says isolation, keep quiet, patient Shin Yu-jung. Yu-jung is underneath his hospital bed, shaking in fear. Every little noise coming from the hallway causes him to whimper. His eyes dart around, and then they dart to a pair of bare legs that appear next to his bed before an upside-down face comes into view, and Yu-jung screams, Don't kill me! I won't tell anyone!" And that is the end of the chapter. So clearly this is a locked room murder, and 3 of the 9 people who were originally trapped are dead, and to make it worse, the corpses are mutilated, and Yu-jung is seeing this creepy looking girl in his nightmares. I will leave you here for today, and I will see you next time. If you don't want to wait, remember that you can always read the manhwa yourself. It's called Chasing Tales. I'll see you next time. Bye!